You will get knocked out trying to throw power shots at someone unless your name is Michael Tyson and you understand how to use squared up footwork versus 10 and 2, which is the 12 o'clock effect. Foot placement is everything in boxing, and today I'm going to teach you exactly how to use your feet to knock someone out if you're in competitive boxing. So stay tuned. What we're going to do is get directly into, first of all, the origin of the peekaboo, which is what most people know Mike Tyson used. So here's the visual of Mike training. So, the precipice of the peekaboo, the precipice of this style is all about knowing how to attack a person offensively and throw hard shots. The reason why you must square up when you're doing this style, though, is because you have to learn how to use the windshield wipers in order to get out of the way of big shots coming at you in order to close the gap. Does that make sense? Because if you're standing at a 12 o'clock stance and you're walking forward, you'll more likely miss the straight shots, but the big shots will hit you and probably daze you. Worst of where you'll probably get knocked out. So what the peekaboo is all about, wanting to be aggressive and then ducking the heavy shots and countering them as you go in. Now, let me date it back, because first I'm going to explain to you what the footwork actually does and allows you to do and who it's for, because it's not for everyone. So when you look at the skills and how Tyson is squared up, you see, the thing is when he comes to you and he's pressing you, what he's doing is getting you into a position that you cannot defend going backwards. Now, that's what the peekaboo is for. When you're throwing big shots are going to come back towards you. So you square up, and it allows you to overcome that with what we call the windshield wiper. And this is not an advanced move. The windshield wiper is a skill set that we use in week 1 of teaching you your defense, right? So now let's date it back to what peekaboo actually means. Peekaboo does not mean this. Peekaboo is the act of looking between your gloves to see your opposition, and they can't really see you looking at them. And you can see everything that they're going to do. So you can look over the gloves, between the gloves, or you can look between the forearms. And this style was known as the turtle shell, mastered by Archie the Old Mongoose Moore. And now the next facet is, who is the peekaboo for? Because there's a reason why many people have tried and there's never been another Mike Tyson. And the reason why that is because this style is unique. It's unique for a particular type of fighter. Let's be honest, Mike Tyson is an awkwardly athletic guy. The timing is slightly off. The explosiveness, no guy that's built like that has that kind of quick twitch muscle. And so when you think about Mike Tyson, he's a dynamic guy. That's why there's never been another guy who could do what he did and done it how he did it. And that's because of the awkwardness of his athletics. And there's nothing short of, he's nothing short of a phenom. Now, who is this for? It's for a guy who has that kind of ability, which are few and far in between. When Cus D'Amato taught Floyd Patterson and Jose Torres the peekaboo, they look nothing like that. None of that explosive, dynamic, lateral movement opposed to what he could do going forward. He just took it to an entirely different level because they're just not athletes born like this. So when we go back to the origin, when you are someone who's big and more husky and you're going to go forward, you're not comfortable going backwards or laterally, peekaboo is perfect for you. When you got big punches, a good jaw, and a torso that has that extra vertebrae, and it allows you to do that pendulum swing like Mike Tyson. We call those windshield wipers. Now, is that you? Because that's who the peekaboo style is really physically designed for. If you're going to look over the glove, remember, you can look over the glove, between the gloves, or you can look between the forearms, and you can use different techniques and tactics out of the turtle shell, or boom, peekaboo, you can get behind the Philly shell. Now, if you're a fighter and you're athletic and you are nimble and you want to attack from an angle, then that person is the key angle 12 o'clock stance guy. Okay? He wants to break off to the side. Like over on this demonstration right here, it's angles, not just squared up. And when you're squared up, it's pretty much you're a forward facing guy. But when you get pushed back, this is the flaw that I've always found when guys try to use the peekaboo, but they don't understand. You got to be strong and you got to have a base. And when you do, then that allows you to press the other guy forward. Okay, so hopefully this is making sense and you are taking these notes down, because if you're someone who's more of a slick fighter like Javante Davis, or guys who are like the Shakur Stevens of the world, Sweet Pea, they understand how to create angles. Manny Pacquiao creates angles, presses you down, but is a master of creating the angles. Now, so what do you do to learn how to do this? You learn how to stand at that 12 o'clock stance and understand how to do side steps and not burn energy. If you're someone who conserves energy, very calculated with the energy output, think about Floyd Mayweather, very calculated when he let hands go. He understood when he was going to let hands go and why he was going to do it. So if you understand that, then it's going to be second nature to you when you're doing this style. So who is the peekaboo for? It's for that guy who understands how to do this. But what we did is we said we want to make it for multiple people. So you can see right here, tall fighters, guys who don't want to use a lot of energy. You're very oxygen calculated in how you use your energy. You don't want to do explosive hops. You want to do more step around, angle, attack, and approach modes. So you want to approach the mode off angles. And this is what we're doing right here with Preem, who's a tall fighter, but understands he wants to attack. And we call this what the hybrid fighter. We took everything that the peekaboo offered and everything that allowed you to not just box with your upper body, but from your lower trunk, the lower half. So we created more of a system on the ground. The periodic table of boxing is what we call it, and that's hybrid fighter. These angles are for people who want to hit all the time, but they also want to make the other guy miss and make them pay. They don't want to just box. They want to be in attack mode all the time. Lomachenko at his prime, he was a hybrid fighter. When you look at young Mike Tyson, in his prime, he was a hybrid. These kind of guys like Jack Dempsey constantly want to rip your head off. These are hybrid fighters. They just have a unique DNA in them. And so therefore, that's why we coupled and titled this hybrid fighter system. And when you want to learn that this is all about developing a certain particular skill set so that you can always get to the fighter. You can always bring him to smoke, and he will always find himself he will always find himself on the defensive, and he can never defend what you're throwing at him. So that's what happens when you understand the periodic table of boxing. The floor, the feet, squared up versus 12 and 2. And it's basically based upon your skill set, right? Who you are in that ring. And so if you're a person that needs to be squared up because you know how to throw heavy punches and you have the good, remember that extra vertebrae helps you with that pendulum, because you're going to need it when those big shots are coming. Overhands, hooks, haymakers, all of those shots, if they catch you, you're going to be on Quiz Street. So you got to have those characteristics in order to pull it off. And if you don't, that's why you haven't had a lot of success in it. But when you look at Mike Tyson, he had an entire savage package. Now, tomorrow, what we're going to get into is how to open and penetrate any offense. One of the techniques that we added to what we saw the Peekaboo style offer was what we call a lot of different variable and variations of throwing punches. And when you're throwing punches in a variation of ways, they're non-defendable. These are what we call wrinkles. These are crafty methods of throwing punches. And you're going to get bird's eye view of this, and it's going to be a very high level education. If you're a big fan of boxing and you like to know what you're looking at, this is definitely for you. And for those of you who really want to learn the footwork stuff, we put together a nice little angle creating package that you guys can get to and get access to. All you have to do is subscribe by typing pivot and go directly up to the site, subscribe, and we're going to give you guys these lessons so you can see them firsthand and try them, and make sure if you try them, tag us and let us know that you're working on your skill set, and tune in tomorrow for the next episode of the Hybrid Fighter, the breakdown, the science of boxing. So Mike Tyson, Jake Paul have allowed us to teach you guys a little bit more, and if this gave you something, make sure you let us know by leaving us a comment and saying thanks, and we'll be sure to keep this kind of content going up so you can keep getting your IQ up to the next level. Until next time, Coach Bradley, I'm signing out. Be blessed at God's speed. This is Hybrid Fighter.
I'm sure you've heard the news. There's a way to become unbeatable in the ring. Ready to find out how? If you're tired of getting hit and struggling to control your rage, it's time to level up. Master these two key aspects of the sweet science, and you'll become what we call a hybrid fighter. How do you master this? I'm going to give you something to do every day the exact same way. First, learn to protect yourself at all times. Cover your blind spots. Master when to use angles. Right now you're using them at the wrong times. You must do it when they don't know it's coming. Think Vasily Lomachenko. He's a hybrid. Next, learn to stay relaxed. This happens when you know how to cover your checkpoints and have 100% confidence that your blind spots are covered or out of range. Want to know when to create angles and master defending your blind spots? To become a hybrid version of yourself. Remember, a hybrid's not the perfect fighter, they're the perfect weapon. Ready to become unstoppable? Let's make it happen.